What's up, guys? Here we are at Yuba Reservoir. We're a bunch of noobs about to try pike fishing for the first time. This is kind of a unique area in Utah because there's not a whole lot of areas in Utah that you can fish for pike. Most of it's trout or like a lot of smaller fish like perch, etc., that sort of thing. And so, yeah, we're going to give it a go. Neither of us have been here before. I'm here with little bro Bryce over there. And yeah, we're going to see how it goes. Like I said, first time being here. So don't really know what to expect. We kind of just did some Googling, some recon to try and find spots. We're in a little corner here that's kind of between some private developments. It's actually a lot more than I thought there was going to be. Some houses being built up on the shores over here and some nicer vacation homes. But managed to find a little pocket of BLM, and we're going to see how it goes. We're also going to be staying the night around here, camping and you know, just kind of exploring around and having a good time. All right, so check it out, guys. We're currently just walking along the shoreline, kind of looking for a good spot to fish from. Pike is interesting because basically everything that we researched and read points us to fish in places we would normally never fish for trout. We've read that it's a weedy, rocky, and shallow, which is where we're at, but we're thinking we might have overdone the shallow a little bit. So yeah, we're just walking along the shoreline right now, trying to find a good spot, and then we'll set up and start casting. These are interesting fish to try and go after because obviously they're predator fish, so you can't really, well, I'm sure you can, but we're not going to be bait fishing for them. We're just going to be kind of casting lures over and over, hoping we get lucky. So hopefully we can get set up in a good spot here and get fishing. All right, guys, so it's looking like we're gonna set up shop here and try casting for a minute. I'm by no means an expert at all, but just so you all know what we're fishing with, we have some braided line. I think it's about 10 to 20. I can't remember. I put it on last season. And then we also have these little rapalas. So again, predator fish, going to mimic a smaller fish like a perch or something like that for them to come munch on. So try a few casts, see how it goes. It would help if I didn't have the freaking swivel through my top eyelet.
Yeah, I ran into that too.
Oh yeah, dude, these things move real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, it's gonna be tough to get them out.
I know. It's on the edge.
That little tug of hope you feel when you hit those weeds, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of the downside of coming into a spot blind, is we're fighting just being impatient fishermen with not knowing if this is even a good spot to fish. We don't know anybody that's fished for pike here. This is purely us just kind of looking up stuff on the internet. And I did watch a few old YouTube videos that are on from the Utah biologists or Utah DNR, but those were like 5 years old and didn't really give much info on like which spot to fish. And so we're literally just, like I said, picked a spot on the map, came and fished. For anybody who doesn't fish a lot, I mean, that's usually just how it goes. Unless you go to, you know, your specific honey hole that you know a lot about, it's really just tossing something in the water and hoping something happens. So we'll see if we can make anything out of it. Like I said, we're going to be here all day today, and then we're going to sleep overnight somewhere up in the hills behind us here. And then we'll be back at it tomorrow morning as well. So we'll probably bounce around to a couple different spots just to try them out. But I am seeing really good action on this lure. This is the first time I've used kind of one of these split Rapalas. I usually just use the solid body ones. But you can see real good action as it kind of swims through the water. And also, you know, the rattle is supposed to attract them. I don't know how much that stands with pike as opposed to like bass or other predator fish, but, you know, doing our best here. All right, guys. Well, first spot was unfortunately a bust. We just had absolutely no action, and really it's just a problem with being able to cast down. I'll see if I can get you guys in there. It's some cameras to pick up the water, but I mean, you can see it is pretty shallow. So I know we're supposed to be fishing shallow, rocky areas, but there's really just nothing for any fish to be hanging out in. It's kind of just low, sandy for quite some time. Pretty view though. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the next spot and we'll pick it back up here in a bit. All right, guys, spot number 2. You can see there's a lot more vegetation and weeds, and it is a lot steeper. I know it's probably harder to see on the camera because it flattens everything out, but we're hoping this is gonna be a lot better. Obviously the water's super low. We're fishing here at the tail end of winter where the water is gonna be lowest. So I think that's gonna give us some problems, but as long as we can get down to that shoreline there and fish these weeds, it should be a good go. You know, the one thing Bryce and I were talking about as we were coming up here is we're about to fish in rocky, weedy areas, right? And we just spent about $60 on like 4 Rapalas. And so I know it's the plight of every fisherman, but we're calculating in our head how expensive this spot is going to be here. We'll keep you posted. All right, we'll give it a few casts here and see what comes out of it. We do have some good weeds. Not a whole lot of rocks, but I'm hoping that the pike are chilling in the weeds, especially with how far down the water is. So we'll give it a go here. I know, right? I thought about getting waders, and I was at Cabela's, and I should have pulled the trigger, man, because they had waders there for like $90. Like, they're obviously not going to be the nice ones, you know, but it would have gotten us out there.
I mean, it looks like, yeah, we can just keep walking.
Yeah, we can just keep going. You get stuck? Oh! I almost died just then. Here, I wanted to try and show you guys the action of this lure. It's pretty insane. You guys see that? Yeah, it's super hard to see in the camera. But you can see that movement. I mean, that's just crazy. All right, new spot. Just walked down the shore a little bit. You can see though, got some nice ducks hanging out. Again, the challenge here is we are so in the weeds and the water is so shallow. The challenge is going to be to get the lure out in the water far enough. So We'll give it a go here for a minute and keep moving down if it doesn't work. All right, we just got here we're actually in the state park now. We're gonna try a different spot. We're gonna hug this little rock jetty that's a break for the boat ramp here on the other side. Obviously there's no one here on the lake today, so we feel comfortable fishing here, but we're gonna give it a go. Maybe along these rocks we'll catch something. I don't know if we'll get pike, but there are other fish in here like wiper and, like I said, smaller perch and stuff like that. So we might give it a go and get one of those. We'll see. So we're gonna switch things up here because I haven't been getting anything. But I'm gonna switch to this little swivel fly thing. I'm sure there's a name for it. I don't know what it is. I just buy things at fishing stores to piss off my wife. So this is what I'm using. It's a size 3 Blue Fox Bullet Vibrex. See how it goes. That went well. Oh, another tangle.
So now I will switch out lures this fast though with the leader.
Yeah. So what happens when I talk trash about my wife? She haunts me from home.
Oh, I had it.
Bryce just lost a fish like literally 2 seconds before I turned the camera on. You did have a pike?
Yes.
Hell yeah, bro. That means there's more.
Oh no! If I get skunked after that,
All right, well, here we go, folks. It's heating up a little bit. All right, guys, we switched to the other side of the little jetty here. See if we can't pick up any pike that are hiding in the rocks. Let's see how it goes. Oh, rock. Wind's definitely blowing that way.
Yep. Back-to-back spinner.
Bunch of pro fishermen over here.
It's just freaking, it keeps slamming shut on any second. Like while I'm casting, it'll close mid-cast.
Yeah, you tighten it so it's a little more stiff.
Yeah.
I have a Leatherman in my bag.
I have
Yeah.
I'll do it here when we head up.
I'm gonna bust the top eyelet off this pole because I keep pulling the freaking leader through. All right, guys, we're gonna give it one more spot here. We just stopped at a lovely little turnoff with some trees for the shade for the truck. And yeah, this is gonna be our last spot we try before we head up into the mountains to try and find our campsite. So hopefully we get into something. If not, like I said, we're coming back at it tomorrow. So see how it goes. All right, we're gonna keep at it with the buzzer beater here. Give it a few casts, see if we can drum up anything. Well, guys, no luck at this last spot. Like I said, it was pretty much a Hail Mary, just random spot on the shore. So we're going to pack it up, and we're actually going to head up into the mountains and find a little campsite. I'll see you then. Alright guys, we made it to our camp spot for the night. Like I said, just randomly drove up a mountain here in Utah and found a pretty good spot. It's got some wind protection with the trees and it's flat enough. I know you guys can never tell what's flat or not on the camera, but it's flat enough for our tent. We're not exactly survival camping tonight. We're glamping with a heater and cots, so we needed a big area. But yeah, we're gonna get camp set up and check in with you guys in a bit to do some dinner. Hey guys, sorry about going dark like that. My phone died, so it's a total noob tuber move here. But I've plugged it into a power bank and we're good to go. I just wanted to give you a tour of the campsite we set up, mainly Bryce, while I was dinking around. So we're on a little bit of a hill here, which we're not super concerned about because it's not windy. But as you can see, kind of back in the trees here is our tent. We are glamping. We have a heater and cots, which is super nice. And then we've got our nice little fire pit right here. And so yeah, we're just about to have some dinner. I'm making some fajitas and I'll be back with you in a sec. Alright guys, I'm gonna try and film this while it's getting a little bit dark here, so I apologize if the light's weird. As I mentioned, we got fajitas for dinner, so squeezable sour cream, squeezable salsa, and I prepped the bell peppers and onions and the carne asada steak. It was sirloin steak that I just marinated in these little tinfoil packets. I have my little camp stove here, and you can just basically heat it right on the burner. Again, we're doing the least amount of dishes possible on this trip. And yeah, and then we have tortillas as well that we can toast up on the burners and should have pretty minimal dishes. So it should be pretty good. Okay, the trick with this stove is that the burners go from like 0 to 10,000 very quick. So we're gonna have to be a little careful. It is also pretty tough to see the flames. We don't want to go super hot because we just want everything to warm. Show you what I got here. Sorry, I'm a little unwieldy. I've got my phone plugged in, but yeah, it's as simple as that. So the trick here, guys, is that these burners do get hot. I usually cook stuff with like cast iron pans on this stove, and so like I said, the trick is going to be to make sure that I don't burn the bottom while the middle of the packet is raw. Normally I toss it in the fire, but we don't really have good wood for coals. I'm just using some old like scrap lumber I had at my house. So we're gonna use the stove here. Plus we lugged the stove all the way up the mountain, so might as well use it. All right, we're checking them out. Problem with these things is they be thick, so we're seeing if they're warm enough in the middle. Don't swear at the camera, Bryce.
Try not to burn my fingers. Not an abuelita with their burnt off fingers.
Yeah, the numb tortilla.
Yeah. They look, oh, they feel warm.
Are they?
Yeah. Mm.
Ooh, they'd be steaming, huh?
Yeah.
They're good?
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
They're good?
Yeah.
Alright. Here, show you guys what we're working with here. So again, it's just sirloin steak that's marinated in like, what do they call it? Soy sauce, olive oil, garlic, lime juice. And then, like I said, just toast up some bell peppers and onions at home. And there you go. Get a little packet. I don't know if they have, I don't know if this is a Utah thing or not, so you guys will have to let me know, but here in Utah we do things called hobo dinners when we camp. And this is basically a Tex-Mex version of a hobo dinner. So that was the thought process behind this. All right, there you have it. So I'm going to savagely attack what is probably 4 times the amount of food that you're supposed to eat in one sitting. And it's getting dark, so we're pretty much just going to chill by the fire. Probably head to bed soonish because it's getting cold. I know I'm in a short sleeve shirt, but the temperature is dropping by the minute. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Morning, guys. We slept pretty good last night. It got a little chilly, to be honest with you, but luckily we did have the propane heater here, which saved us because I was in a 15-degree sort of normal bag, non-mummy bag. But just so, I can't remember, I showed you guys last night. This is kind of what we were working. So we had our 2 cots set up, and then, like I said, we had pads and sleeping bags as well. So stayed pretty warm and toasty. Like I said, this is kind of a glamping trip. 6-man tent, which was super nice. We're just gonna pack up here, grab some quick breakfast, and then head down to the reservoir to start fishing again. So see you in a bit. All right, guys, first spot of the day here. We are just sitting right below sort of the dam. And again, the water looks super shallow and not like a place you want to fish, but that's where everyone's telling us to fish. I wanted to show you guys real quick. Underneath the bridge, hope you guys can see that. Those are all birds' nests, which is pretty awesome. But beautiful morning, couldn't ask for a better day. It got a little cold last night, but it's supposed to be in the 60s today by the time we leave. Typical Utah winter day, I guess. But yeah, we'll start fishing here. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different today. I have 2 poles. I wasn't using one of them yesterday, and so what I might do is I might actually do a catfish rod. So I have some old trapper jerky that I'm going to throw on there. It's like a beef stick type thing, and we'll see if we can drum up anything. Alright guys, so here you have it. Literally just a super simple, just kind of swivel setup with a little piece of sausage on there. And I have no idea what size hook that is, but we're going to throw it out there and see if we can't catch anything. The reason why I'm doing this is there's catfish in here. And then also, who knows, maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe something interesting like a carp or even like a walleye or anything, something like that. We'll pick it up. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, we've been fishing here for, I don't know, what did you say it'd be, Bryce? Like an hour? Okay, we've been fishing for about an hour, 45 minutes, plenty of casts, and just have not hooked them on anything. Honestly, though, there's less structure in the water than we'd like. It's kind of just shallow, and there are some small rocks, but, you know, not really much structure for the fish to be in. So we're actually going to switch up spots. We're going to go back to the place we were yesterday, which you can probably see behind me is that rocky jetty there. Just below it, that's where Bryce hooked up twice, and they got off both times, but we know for a fact there's at least some pike there, and so we're going to go head over there. And like I said, if we're going to cast, you know, a million times like everyone says you have to do for these fish, I'd rather go sit in a spot and cast that we know there's fish than, you know, a brand new area that we've never hooked up on or seen anything and doesn't really look likely. So be back with you guys in a minute. All right, here we are, guys, back at our spot where Bryce hooked up twice yesterday. So I think we're just gonna dedicate some time here and just fish. This seems like the type of fishing where you kind of just have to be patient, which isn't our strong suit. So gonna give it a few casts, see if we can't hook up with something. I do also have that same sort of catfish setup in the water with my other yellow pole. And yeah, we're thinking we might have just seen like a super, I don't know, a roly carp or something swimming away. I'll see if I can stick any footage in there, but already more life than we've seen so far this morning. So I think we're just going to be here for a minute and hang out and fish and probably eat a muffin and be back with you guys in a sec. Just wanted to show you guys my method of fishing. I'm dubbing it John's muffin method, not to be confused by John's muffin top method, which is a different thing. probably never gonna catch anything, but this muffin's real good.
All right, it looks like John caught a fish. We're gonna go check it out. He's currently up on the cliff.
Up on the rocks.
Here we go, here we go. Nice. Look at that, baby.
Yeah!
Nice, there we go. First pike of the day. It's a beauty too.
Guys, I was a little worried there for a second. That was quite a few casts.
Was that off your jig?
Yeah, it was off my Rapala.
Dang. It's also nice because you know going into it, it's going to be a decent sized fish no matter what.
Yeah. Here you go. Here.
They're way more green than I thought they would be. Finish Josh yet?
Alright, you can dig the hook out. And I'm going to take him for a swim.
Get the picture too. That's a beauty, John.
Alright, guys. First pike on the books in Utah. Actually, first pike ever, really.
Here you go.
Nice.
There's a thumbnail.
That is a beautiful fish. We are not going to keep him. Mostly just because we got to drive home and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to get him back here real quick. Do you mind just filming me releasing him?
Yep. I'm going to pop your phone out.
Alright guys, we've probably been fishing for another hour or two. I'm just gonna check this yellow pole here to see what we ended up with. If there's nothing there, I think what we'll end up doing is try tossing it into one of these little holes from the jetty here and see what comes out of it. Could be nothing. I also switched up lures, so we'll keep fishing here for a minute. But yeah, just gonna swap this rod location. Nothing so far, so let's go try and stick it down the hole. All right, we'll see how that does. If you saw me being a little bit finicky, it's because that is only 8-pound fluorocarbon, I think, on that rod. And so if anything big does hook up and happens to graze the rocks with that line, it's gonna shear off super quick. So I was trying to get it away from the rocks while also in a deep little hole. But yeah, we'll give it a minute, see if anything happens. In the meantime, I also switched up back to the lure that I was using before. The winds kind of shifted and died down a little bit, so we're able to cast out like we were before. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what kind of plants these are. They're like little bristle bushes everywhere, but they are stout and we have snagged on them so much. So if anyone knows what they are in the comments, please let me know. But again, they shed these little bristles and they're as stout as actual trees. I'll try and show you. You see all that on the beach? All those bristles? Those end up on our clothes. So yeah, would love to know what those are if anyone knows in the comments. Alright guys, so quick update. I don't even know if any of this sound is going to be usable, but the wind is just picked up to no end. And so obviously we're fishing lures, we're casting rapalas that, you know, aren't the heaviest lures in the world, and definitely not able to keep up against wind blowing straight back at us this heavy. So we're actually going to try and pivot and go around the side of this little jetty we're fishing from, because hopefully if the wind stays coming this way, then we can, you know, continue to fish. If not, we might have to get creative, maybe find a little spot or see what happens. So shifting and we'll be back. So apparently the grass is not always greener, folks. It is just as windy on the other side of the jetty. But Bryce is slugging it out over here, waiting for the wind to die down in between casts. We'll see how it goes. All right guys, we're calling it quits. The wind is just howling out there and we just aren't able to do anything, but really appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, this is my first YouTube video, so let me know if you have any suggestions. I think kind of biggest takeaways here are going to be GoPro, especially for fishing videos, and also just batteries, which will help with the GoPro in general. But like and comment if you enjoyed the video. Like I said, feel free to let me know of any suggestions, any adventures that you'd like to see us do here in Utah, or even surrounding states. I'm open to it, but we'll try and keep up a couple of videos a month that are similar, just us kind of doing adventures. We're not done with Yuba yet because we got to get Boonie-Hat-Bryce over there on with a pike.
Seriously.
So we'll probably be back. I don't know when it'll be. We'll have to watch winds and stuff like that, but I might come back with my fishing kayak and see if that can't get us a little bit more offshore. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.